go again?
Oh, no, not again.
You've seen it before, haven't you?
Dom, how long have we been doing this?
Once more unto the breach, dear friends.
Again and again and again until we're both dead.
Hello, welcome to You've Seen It Before, movie reviews, connections of mine. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is the fourth film in this rebooted Planet of the Apes series. It is a direct continuation from 2017's War for the Planet of the Apes. However, we have director Russ Ball taking over from Matt Reeves, and this takes place several generations after the events of those films. And this time, the movie focuses on an ape named Noah who, after living an idyllic life with his clan, training eagles, he is thrust into a wider world and must save his clan while teaming up with an orangutan named Raka, as well as a human who, it turns out, is not who she appears to be. Now, this video review will contain spoilers of War of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, as well as certain other films, but I'll do my spoiler-free thoughts first and foremost, so just so you know, there'll be some spoilers later on in this review. So, first things first, let's get into some spoiler-free thoughts on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Is it a good theater experience? Is it a good continuation of this rebooted Planet of the Apes series? Well, in preparation, I did rewatch all three Planet of the Apes new movies up until then, Rise, Dawn, and War, and you know, it's an interesting experience because I hadn't rewatched those probably since I probably rewatched Rise and Dawn right before War for the Planet of the Apes came out in 2017. So it's been quite a long time since I've rewatched those, and I was surprised at how well they hold up, and it's great storytelling. So, needless to say, this new movie had a lot to live up to when it came to that, and while I will say the ape motion capture stuff is, as always, on par. You got great effects going on there, and the action sequences are actually very well filmed. There's some great 360 work going on with the camera angles that they show off here that I think is really good work on that front. I have to say the story it's lacking. I gotta say it is lacking. That doesn't make it a bad film. It just makes it another film. And how do I explain this? So, if you haven't seen the previous three films, this is going to be mild spoilers. Well, not mild spoilers. These are going to be spoilers for the previous three Planet of the Apes films. So, when we're talking about what those movies had to say, you could say Rise was about a world rejecting its creation and the creation taking over. All right, and in Dawn it was the struggle between the creation, the two people trying to coexist, and both sides, people on both sides unwilling to forgive past wrongs, and how to reconcile that, and then forcing into a war that neither side necessarily wanted. Okay, and then War for the Planet of the Apes, we have the message of the apes trying to survive in the face of a dying world, that is the humans, and that dying world ultimately self-destructing and taking Caesar's life with him. All right, so there's some very fascinating commentary that is in all three of those that you can dive into for all you want, or you can just see them as cool ape movies. Both interpretations are valid, but if you want to dive deeper, there's a lot to dive deep in those three. With Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, however, there's some great ape action. I will say there's some great scenes near the end of the movie when they get to their final destination, so to speak. And but then when you dive into it, you're really not seeing any new ground being trod here. I mean, you got the human Nova slash May, there's a cute little scene where it's like where Rocket the Orangutan says, "Oh, I'll call her Nova. We all call him Nova. We don't know why. It's from Caesar's time." It's like it's a nice little callback both to the original 3 trilogies and to way back to the original Planet of the Apes from the '60s with Charlton Heston, the original Nova. So there's a cute little callback there. So we call the girl May, and there's some great scenes on a bridge that they will do a fight scene. There's a great fight on the edge of a cliff. So there's a great ape fighting going on here, which is fine. But when you dive deep, the commentary, it's all been done before in the series. Like, we have the elements of, all right, well, can the ape world and the human world coexist? We already did that with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes. Are humans truly bad, or can they be trusted? Again, we've already done this with the previous films. You're not saying anything new here. It's not that these characters are bad. It's just another Planet of the Apes movie. That's bringing anything new to the table, which I think is his greatest flaw. Interestingly, there are some great chemistry great character chemistry moments between Chimp Noah, the main character, Raka, who is an orangutan who is discovered along the way, who is voiced by Peter Macon, who is, it took me a while to place him, but it's like, if you've watched my channel before, you know I'm a big fan of the Orville, and he plays Commander Bortus on the Orville, so that was a fun, oh, I know that voice moment. And May, the human, there's some great scenes with those 3 of them together, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of, if we're gonna do like the 3 of them together, going on an adventure sort of thing to towards this destination, then that could be something. But very quickly they're broken up, and I'm like, why? I think they only spend like 10-15 minutes of screen time, maybe less, together, and that seems like such a waste. I mean, they waste the most interesting character dynamic in this, and then by the end, I'm like, we're treading the same ground all over again, and I'm not impressed. Which, again, I feel like director Wes Ball and the creative team behind this was handed sort of an impossible task, because that original 3 trilogy, maybe not at the time, but definitely in hindsight, is one of the best, sci-fi trilogies that we've had in modern, in the past 10-15 years at this point. And continuing off of that, it feels like, maybe you could have done something, because War of the Planet of the Apes came out in 2017. If this movie had come out in 2019, 2020, if the pandemic hadn't happened, maybe this could have been more of an impact, but now it's like, what is the point, right? I mean, this whole thing was it doesn't even really kick off any further adventures to go through it. There's the ending. It's like, okay, this is kind of thing, but again, these are prequels, and the producers have said, yes, the original Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes does have a place in this timeline. So it's like, we all know where this is headed. It's with Charlton Heston, crashing to the ground, and then ultimately seeing the Statue of Liberty going, "You maniacs who blew it up." It's like, well, what else is left to say about this world? And that's a shame, I think. So, I think if you've never seen any of the Planet of the Apes movies, or even the previous 3, the previous trilogy, I think you'll like this movie well enough. But if you're like me and you rewatched the previous 3 films prior to seeing this one, I think you're probably going to be let down. So, if I was going to give Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes a letter grade, I would say this is solid B-. It's better than average. I wouldn't, it's not forgettable by any means, but it is generic, I will say. So, those are my main spoiler-free thoughts on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now let's get into spoiler talk as to certain plot developments and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen them before. Again, like I said, we've seen the commentary that this is trying to get through before with the previous films, with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, especially Dawn and War. I think this movie is retreading the same ground of that, and also I feel like, and I'm not sure how much this could have been helped, but when it feels like the king character Proximus, the king ape, in this kingdom, he has it's kind of a catchphrase where it's like, "What a wonderful day, what a wonderful day, isn't it?" And he says that over and over. It just feels like it's trying to make that the new from Mad Max Fury Road, oh, what a day, what a lovely day sort of thing. And no, you're not going to be the next what a lovely day thing. And it just feels like you're sailing on their coattails. I'm sorry. So that was what I got out of this. And, the other thing I can think that can be said for this movie is the characters just make stupid decisions. Like, okay, so the whole main crux of the finale is, alright, we gotta get into Proximus trying to get into this vault that has been sealed by humanity. There's something in that vault that he wants. And so our core group and of May the human and Noah and his friends are going to go around and go up the cliff and go in the back way to find this what's in the vault. May's doing this so she can get the drive or whatever. So I guess that her friends can link to the satellite so she can talk. They can talk with other places. Cool. But when they finally, all right, let's open the door, and it's daylight, and Proximus is standing there waiting. It's like, well, yeah, you've already said before, oh, daylight's coming soon. It's like, what did you think was going to happen? Why would you open the door? And, yeah, I mean, I know you have to open the door so that, the explosive would go off and then they flood it, but it's like, this would have worked better if, they caught them, dawn and they caught them just waking up. It's like the middle of the day. Of course they're right there. What did you think was gonna happen? It's like, why? That was such a stupid decision, and I can't explain it otherwise. And maybe you can shout in the comments why I'm wrong, but that just made no sense to me whatsoever. And again, I guess another point of comparison to be made is that fight at the very top on the cliff with Proximus fighting Noah or whatever. It's not quite the same, but for me, a fight between two leaders of groups on top of a cliff with the goal of one trying to shove the other off the cliff. I can't help but think of Black Panther in that regard, with the fights, with Killmonger throwing T'Challa off the cliff or into the waterfall or whatever. Again, that's another thing. It's like, this should be really epic, but I didn't spend nearly enough time with Proximus. I know nothing about this guy except he wants into the vaults. Why should I care at all about what this guy is talking about? And then another worst part thing is, like, they bring in William H. Macy as this human who, I guess, he was hiking in the post-apocalypse. He fell and broke his ankles. Then he was found by the apes, and he weaseled his way into, all right, I can read the books and tell them stories. I can be useful to them, and find a way to, work my way into this new world order, because the old world order is not coming back. That could have been interesting. Develop that more. What are we talking about? Spent like 5 minutes on him and then he's dead. It's like, why? Why are we wasting such interesting concepts on meaningless action scenes? I don't know. So, yeah, again, these are things that drop the grade down for me. What did you think of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What about my analysis? Do you agree? Disagree? Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments down below, and maybe give me your rankings of the modern Planet of the Apes movies. So Rise, Dawn, War, and Kingdom at this point. For me personally, I would say, War is first. Rise, Dawn, and Kingdom. That's my ranking. Let me know your rankings in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my next movie review, which, if the schedule holds, will be another couple weeks for, speaking of Mad Max Fury Road, we'll have that sequel, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, or prequel I should say, coming out, I believe, May 26th. So look for that review coming soon. If you like this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best, but just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before.